create a LinkedIn company page that not only looks great, but also attracts new customers and stands out from the competition, because life's too short for a company page that's dead boring. And I'm going to show you how to do this step by step with a make-believe company that I created just for you. But first, we need to talk about LinkedIn's requirements for setting up a company page, because some people are hitting a wall. First, you need a LinkedIn personal profile, because LinkedIn needs to know that it's a real person building a company page and not some bot that's trying to overthrow the human race. And yes, that does mean you will be building your company page off of your profile. A lot of people ask me, if someone's looking at your company page, can they trace it back to your profile? And the answer is no, unless you go out of your way to list your company in the experience section of your personal profile as a place where you work. Apparently, there are a lot of people who want to create a company page incognito. Second, make sure your personal profile uses your real first name and last name. Don't do any fake stuff, because if you do, LinkedIn will eventually catch on to it and will put you in LinkedIn jail. Next, your personal profile needs to be more than 1 day old. And you need to have more than one connection with another LinkedIn member. This also helps LinkedIn know that you're a real person. You also need to create the company page on desktop or iOS. You can edit some parts of your company page on any kind of device, but where you do the setup is limited. And finally, please make sure you don't already have a company page. This may seem obvious to you, but I cannot tell you how many duplicate pages I see out there. You can tell if you already have a company page by searching for your company in the search bar, and if you do find a page that already exists, then maybe someone else in your organization created one, or you created it off of a different account. And I could create an entire video on all the possible scenarios and how you resolve this, but that's not for this video. The key is make sure there's not a duplicate, and if there is, try to get access. Now let's create your page step by step, and you're going to want to take some notes on this, because there's some strategy on how you fill out some of these fields. So let's say I have a company called Custom Corporate Cookies, where we make customized cookies as corporate gifts. And the cookies are amazing. First, you're going to log into LinkedIn, and in the top right corner, click on For Business. Then click on Create a Company Page. Now on the next screen, you have 3 choices: company, showcase page, and educational institution. And most likely you're going to choose company unless you're a school or university. And FYI, showcase pages are sub-pages that you can attach to an existing company page, and each showcase page showcases a particular product or service that you offer. But let's create a company page. Click on company. Okay, name, Custom Corporate Cookies. That part's obvious. Now here, this is the URL that's going to appear at the top of someone's browser when they visit your company page. This is a really great opportunity to brand yourself. Now, LinkedIn's going to try to autofill this, and if for whatever reason that name is already taken, use that opportunity to think of something even snazzier. But no matter what, try to get it right the first time, because LinkedIn only allows you to change the URL once every 30 days. For the website, let's put www.customcorporatecookies.com. Again, this is make-believe, and please don't try ordering cookies from me. And by the way, as we're filling everything out and you're wondering what it's going to look like to the outsider looking at your page, I'm going to show you where to go very soon. Okay, for industry, we're going to put food and beverage manufacturing, and keep in mind that LinkedIn doesn't have the best choices of business categories, so just do your best. For organization size, I'll say 11 to 50 employees, because in my imagination, we're making a lot of cookies. Organization type, you're going to see lots of choices here. I'll say privately held. Now, this is where you're going to put your logo, and LinkedIn recommends 300 pixels by 300 pixels. And I created this logo in Canva. And Canva's not a sponsor, but I wish they would be, because I talk about them a lot. But since they're not, go ahead and use whatever program you want. Now, here's something you need to know about the logo. The logo is going to appear pretty small in some places on LinkedIn, such as when you show up in a search result or beside a post of yours. So make sure that when people see your logo, they can figure it out without squinting. The biggest problem that I see is that teensy-weensy text that is in some people's logos, and then when you shrink the logo, it's impossible to read. And sorry for the tough love here, but it looks unprofessional when you present things to people that they can't decipher. So if you see any of that, get rid of it. Okay, for the tagline, it's going to be one of the first things that people see on your page. You have 120 characters, including spaces, to make an awesome impression. How about this? A sweet corporate gift you can sink your teeth into. And now you're going to click to verify you're an authorized representative of the organization and you agree to the terms. And this is making me really nervous, because Custom Corporate Cookies is not a real company. I like baking cookies for fun, but making it a job would suck the fun out of it. I'm going to tear down this page as soon as I'm done filming. Now, after we check the box, it may look like we're done here, but we are totally not. Okay, so for now on the next page, you're going to see there are lots more things that LinkedIn is recommending we do. And to me, this is all clutter. I'm going to show you everything in a much more methodical order. First, at the top, we need to add a large cover image, like you'll see here on my 100% real Delaware ShoutOut company page. And we need to be strategic about this. You'll notice that your logo will cover a part of the left-hand side of the cover image. So make sure there's nothing important on the left side of your cover image. We also have a narrow space to work with. It's 1128 by 191 pixels. So make sure nothing in your image would get cut off top or bottom in a weird way. And if you happen to create a cover image on Canva, you'll see these 1128 by 191 pixel dimensions listed as the design for the LinkedIn career page background, even though this is totally not a career page. As for exactly what to put in your cover image, keep it simple. Human brains like simple things. So don't do a collage with like 50 different elements. And if you're going to add words, be brief. And don't waste time putting your company name or tagline here because you already have them here and here. So when you're ready to add your cover image, click on the pencil here, choose the image you're adding, scroll down, make any last-minute adjustments here, and when you're ready, click apply. Now, when you get back to your admin dashboard, your cover image will look like a hot mess. But thankfully, that's not how outsiders will see it. Anytime you want to see how outsiders will see your page, click on View as Member. Now let's go back to the dashboard because we're going to really beef up our page. Now we'll get to these sections fairly soon, but for now, let's go to Edit Page. First, you'll see all the stuff you've already filled out, plus LinkedIn pushing you to pay for a premium page. As of this filming, I am not convinced that the few extra bells and whistles of a premium company page are worth $99 a month. I'd rather splurge on 99 items at the dollar store. So we're going to skip that. Now let's click on buttons. You'll see that the message button, so people can message your company directly, defaults to on, as it should, as well as a custom button to drive people to a website or specific landing page. I'm going to keep my custom button to say visit website, but if LinkedIn offered a buy now option, I would totally take that instead. And here is a strategy you want to keep in mind anytime you add a button to anything with your social media. You want a button that comes closest to the ultimate action that you want people to take. And for me, it would be to buy, not just to visit the website. So here, choose the strongest call to action that makes sense for your company. And here's another promo for premium company pages we can ignore. Now let's go to featured. This is where you can build a featured section on your company page. It's similar to the featured section on your personal profile, but it's limited. On the company page, you can only highlight up to 3 of the most important posts or articles or your company's newsletter, like you'll see here on my Delaware ShoutOut page, since I have real content here to put out. And when you're ready to add your featured section, click on Manage Featured and click on the plus sign. And of course, once you publish content from your company page, you'll have content here to choose from. Now let's go back to the dashboard and click on Overview. The description here is super important. Not only do you want to appeal to your target audience, that's the most important thing, but you also want to appeal to the LinkedIn algorithm so you show up in more search results. So let me show you a formula you can use for your description, and then I'll show you what it looks like in practice. Number 1, acknowledge your target audience's need or problem. 2, show how you solve it. Add a call to action and add keywords. These 3 are for your target audience, and this last one is for the algorithm. And here's what it would look like for custom corporate cookies. Struggling to find the perfect thank you gift for your clients and employees? That's the need or problem. Imagine their surprise and joy when they receive a beautiful box of handcrafted, delectable cookies. It's not just a gift, it's a memorable experience that engages the senses. Each box features your logo and message for that extra personal touch. Plus, our cookies cater to everyone. We offer traditional varieties and can accommodate special diets, gluten-free, vegan, and more. That's the solution. Don't let gift giving stress you out. Contact us today and discover how you can give a sweet thank you that's sure to impress. Fill out the form on this page, and by the way, I'll show you where that form goes soon, or reach out directly. And that's the call to action with my completely made up contact information. Also keep in mind that your contact information will appear on the company page below the description, but in my world, you can't be too rich or too thin or share your contact information too often. And then finally, I'm adding this list to the description. Corporate gifts, client gifts, employee recognition, promotional gifts. These are the keywords to help my company page show up in more searches. Now let's say you want to attract clients who speak different languages and may have their own LinkedIn account set to a different language. You can manage that right here. Click on Add a Language, choose the language you want, and then supply the translations for your company name, tagline, and description. And yes, you do need to supply the translations, so only do this obviously if this is important for your company. You can also set that language as the default language if you want. Now further down here, you're going to see a lot of fields that are already filled out from earlier, and you can add your phone number here along with the year you're founded. But I would say if you're a brand new company, I would leave that blank because you don't want to make it so obvious that you're brand new. Specialties, you can add up to 20 specialties, and I recommend adding as many as you can that are relevant to your products and services. This is going to increase your chances that you show up in a LinkedIn search. Then press save. Now, these next two sections are especially relevant if you're hiring, but even if you're not, it's still helpful to fill out everything you can now, because when you are ready to hire, it's because you're drowning in work, and that's when you won't have time to fill everything out. And I'm just going to talk you through these two sections because I absolutely do not want to attract job candidates to a fake company. That would be like opening a restaurant and serving only imaginary food. In Workplace, you'll first turn this on so you can state if your workplace is on-site, remote, or hybrid. You'll also have to provide your workplace policy, so add this when you can. You can also add a link to your company's workplace policy and benefits to working on-site at your company. And if you have a location-based pay adjustment or vaccine policy, you can add them here. But you can also keep these as do not show this section, which is surely the easiest thing to do right now. Commitments are about what your company cares about. Now let's say you choose work-life balance as your commitment. If you're a regular to this channel, you know that's a huge passion of mine, but now you need to write a description about it and add at least one work-life balance perk. You can also add resources to prove the fact that you care about work-life balance, which I guess is helpful because all work and no play makes Jack a lawsuit risk. And you can add more commitments here if you're really gung-ho on lots of things to commit to. And here's where you put your location or locations. If you don't want to put your full address, you don't have to. Just put your country or region and your city. And I think it's good that LinkedIn asks for a city because you do need some transparency. Now for the lead gen form. It's a way for you to collect emails for free, and it's going to appear towards the bottom of your company page. So we need to find ways for people to see it. And there are a couple things we can do. One of them we've done already. In the description we already created, we said fill out the form on this page. The other thing we could do is at the top where your tagline is. You can add the words contact us to learn more with a downward arrow. And I meant to add them earlier in the tutorial, but I'm not perfect, so they're added now. And because I want to keep this video at a reasonable length, I already have a whole tutorial about the lead gen form, and I'm going to put a link in the description if you're interested. I am also time-stamping the link, so when you click on it, it's going to skip over the parts we've already talked about in this video to save you some time. So now, even though we've covered everything in the edit page section, there are other sections here I want to call your attention to, either because they're going to help you attract new customers or because you can ignore them and save yourself some time. Page posts. Okay, now there are a million different ways to get your post to appear on LinkedIn. And I do not set up my posts on my Delaware ShoutOut company page. I set them up through a third-party platform. Personally, I use Social Pilot. There are lots of other good pre-scheduling tools out there. And here's why I use the third-party tool. My posts are going to be delivered to a whole lot more news feeds if I post through my personal profile. However, I still want posts to also come out through my company page so that if someone visits my company page, they see that it's active. If I use a third-party pre-scheduling tool, I can have my posts go through my personal profile and my company page with the click of a button. That means I save time, and if I save time, I can be more consistent, and consistency is key. And in case you're wondering when are the best times to post on LinkedIn, whether through your personal profile or company page, the answer might surprise you, and I have a whole video about that, and I'm going to include a link at the end of this video. Analytics. This is a really important spot, and you're going to want to check your analytics about once every 6 months or so, once you have enough data to work with. And for the sake of time, I already have a highly detailed video on LinkedIn analytics for both company pages and personal profiles, and I'll include a link in the description. Next is the feed. I have found this completely useless. This is where your company page can follow other faceless company pages. And if your workflow is anything like mine, you're not going to regularly schlep over to your company page to see what other company pages are doing. No, you're going to look at the feed on your main homepage when you log into LinkedIn. And most of the posts in the newsfeed are from actual people, not faceless companies. You have my blessing to skip this section. But the activity section, you totally want to check this out. This is where you'll see when people mention your company page or engage with your company posts, so you can respond to them. You can also access analytics from here. However, again, if you don't feel like schlepping on over to your company page to check this out and may not remember to do that, it's okay, you don't have to. You'll actually get prompted if there's activity on your company page on the left side of your LinkedIn homepage. Just remember to look there when you log in. Now, inbox is where you send messages. That's totally obvious, like adding raisins to oatmeal cookies. And what? Another Try Premium page? No way. Invite to follow. Okay, this is a good one. Once your page is optimized, you're going to want to invite people to follow your page, and you want to do it on a regular basis. I believe that everyone now has 250 invitations they can send each month. If you show a different number, please let me know in the comments. And keep in mind, you can only invite first-degree connections that you've built through your personal profile. You also have your settings here, and while everything here is pretty self-explanatory, I do want to point out the Manage Admins tab if you want to add other people as admins with different permission levels. And surprise, surprised, I already have a quick tutorial on that. Link will be in the description. Now that you've set up your company page, your next step is to think of the content you're going to push through your page as well as through your personal profile. And if you're wondering when are the best times to post on LinkedIn so you reach more news feeds and get more engagement, check out this video in the top right corner. Thank you so much and see you in the next video.